the so more into JSX. So we will be understanding more on the JSX part, the pure UI part, because this so JSX has got its own syntax actually, which is a bit different from HTML. I think next 2-3 classes for sure we will be focusing more on this part only. Okay, in that the first thing is JavaScript in JSX with curly braces, which means so in JavaScript we have variables, correct? We will have arrays. We can create objects. Now how do I use that JavaScript in the JSX part, the JavaScript extension part, using first using curly braces. What is it? Using curly braces, how we are going to write JavaScript. So we have one very simple example here. Let's see what it is. Now here is a component. It has only one element, which is having image. So here it is hard coded. We told you the other day, I've been saying components are more reusable. What if I would like to use the same avatar component, yeah, but with a different source, with a different alt value? I mean, this is always will give me the same person photo, right? Do you think I'll get a different output? Yeah, we don't get a different output when I just use the same component n number of times. So then what? Then this curly bracket syntax within the JSX will help me substitute a value. What is the meaning of that? Meaning is, let's say I have put, I put some, yeah, I can create one variable here. Let's say const, okay. So const, I can say, yeah, I can take, any example here. So let's say test is equal to checkbox. What is it? I'll put type is equal to checkbox. That will be more interesting. Now instead of hard coding the type for this input, here I've hard coded it as text. I can actually, replace this hard coded value with two curly brackets. Yeah, the opening and closing. Here I can write a JavaScript variable directly. What am I doing? Here I can replace that hard coded value with two curly brackets and the variable name. So now whatever is in this variable, it is being passed to this input. Now let's say it is text, then it is text. Let's say if it is radio, then it will be a radio button. So this is what, having a value which is variable value, correct? Not a fixed value. Now same thing here in this example, instead of putting the same source always, I can pass in a different image using this curly bracket. Okay, so here they have an example for it. Now, yeah, so this source initially was accepting string. So instead of storing it directly, I'm having it in a variable avatar. How I'm doing? I'm just writing instead of this, yeah. So we have put into two separate variable, both the src value and the alt value. Why? I just want to change it. Correct? Yeah. So there is a difference, correct? The way you are writing here. So if at all you are giving a direct value, we write it in quotes. Be it double quote, single quote, both the quote will work actually. We know that. If at all we are substituting a value, yeah, so we can use curly bracket and mention the name of the variable. So this gets evaluated and then assigned to this src. Yeah, this gets assigned and then assigned to this property alt. So now what? We are using the JavaScript syntax within the JSX. So what is the JavaScript? The variables. Okay. Using curly braces, a window into the JavaScript world. Yeah. So we can actually write so many things in this curly bracket. It's not just putting one way, curly bracket and writing a variable name. Yeah. Let's say I want to substitute something. Correct. Here I want to update. Yeah. You update whatever value. That's what is going to get rendered here. It is not just within the attributes, within the property only you can use this curly bracket. Here we used only for properties, but here we are writing even within the content also. The opening and closing tag, yeah, you are able to include the JavaScript. Why? Because of this curly bracket. This curly bracket has got a name which is also called as interpolation. What is it? Interpolation. Okay, fine. What else is possible with this curly bracket? So all we are now trying to understand what all is possible with the help of curly bracket. You can use only curly braces in two ways inside JSX. Within the content or for the attributes. Yeah, you can use it as a text or as an attribute. That's only two places where you can use curly bracket. So what it means? They're telling you cannot replace this with again some curly bracket. This is not possible. Getting what I'm saying? So let's say I create a variable called tag and in the tag I put input. This you cannot do with the help of this curly bracket. Possible? Yes, you can change this property value. Or if you don't want, the whole value you want to put it in here from some variable, that is also possible, which is nothing but the content. This will not work. So tags you cannot replace with the syntax, which is curly braces. Okay. Uh, Using double curlies. Interesting. Yeah. Another syntax. Again, curly bracket only we are talking. So we use double curly braces. Yeah. Where in CSS and other objects in JSX. So what it means, let's say I would like to have some style to this. What I have to do? I have to pass some style. In this case, we use, two curly braces. What do? We pass in two curly braces. Let's say I want to have a color brown. Yeah. This is almost syntax. If you see, it looks like an object syntax. Correct? It looks like a style object. Const, style h1 is what? Is color brown. How do you express the CSS thing? Color brown. This is how we write. Okay, and then you see style h1. Now you are going to get the same. Or let's say for some component. Okay, so we are going to learn next thing what is called as prop. Wherever I want to pass an object directly, that time we can make use of two curly bracket. The inner one basically says it's an object. The outer one is the normal curly bracket where we want to interpolate this value. Getting what I'm saying? We write two curly braces if in case object actually comes into picture. Object is directly hard coded there. So let's say I already have an object in a variable, then I can just directly substitute that variable here. But sometimes we write inline, just directly we write everything here only. Color is so and so, okay, and then we also write additional style, yeah, as a style. This is how we write style also. We are yet to discuss on that. Let's say I want to change font size, yeah, so font size I would like to change, and then here I want it to be like 30 pixel. So this is how we can write an inline style. In this case we use two curly braces, and not to confuse, because this is purely an object. So CSS we write it as an object. Yeah, this is one of the way to provide CSS. Okay, so that is a usage of double curly brackets. Fine. Next, what else he says? There's more fun with JavaScript objects and curly braces. Okay, which means, yeah, let's see, you have a complete object actually. You're trying to display a person detail. Yeah, you see, we wrote simple variables like this. But what if I am trying to display user details, and it has happened that all my user details are there in one single object, like name, yeah, uh, yeah, so person A, and then his email is so and so. Now, if at all I have data in this, how do you display this data within JSX? Or how do you interpolate this data into the JSX? That's the question now. So in this case, let's say I would like to display these user details. You can use the same curly bracket syntax now also. The only difference will be, okay, the only difference will be, instead of writing just the variable name, user, you cannot display user. Try displaying user, not possible. It says, you know, object is not valid. You cannot write objects actually directly in the curly bracket like this. Yeah, few minutes back I told you it is possible in case of style. In case of style, we can provide, okay, an object itself as an input. Now you see this user is an object, but in the content it is not possible. So this JSX syntax will be bit trickier till you practice it, till you start getting to it. So, but don't worry, you should start reading these errors, and accordingly you have to recall, okay, what is right and what is the correct syntax that you have learned. Now you cannot display here the, so the error you get is, as a React child element you cannot use objects. Objects are not valid as React child. That's the error you are going to get if you directly try to display an object. Objects are not valid as a React child. So means what? You have to use primitives to display it. Meaning you can display this property called username, yeah, and then, yeah, same way you can display the other information when you have the details in an object. If at all you have in a variables, you just directly mention the name of the variable. Since it is object, you cannot display the whole object. Are you able to understand? Okay. Let me tell you, there is one syntax like in which you can display the whole object actually. So this is using one function called json.stringify. Basically what it does, it converts your given object into a string. What is it? It converts a given object into a string, and since it is string, I can display it. See, this is how that string will come. See, now I have displayed this as an object. Okay. A quick recap. So far, we only discussed it is not good to just have hard-coded HTML. Though you are writing React, if you are again hard-coding it, it is as simple as you just writing another HTML only. No, we don't do that. we do a lot of substitutions. We use a interpolation syntax. Yeah. So interpolation syntax works both while giving the attribute or as a content. We can use this interpolation syntax for these two cases. For example, I would like to have some style, then I can use this interpolation syntax and I can provide the variable name which holds the class, yeah, or holds the value for this. Okay, so for example, class name, then if I have some variable which holds the class name, then I can directly mention the variable name here. Yeah, and then so yeah, it is expecting that class. All right. So apart from that, yes, within the content, you can, let's say, description, we can write like this. All right, so this is how we can use, and there are some cases where we can use double braces also, and that case is mostly when we have an object, especially for style and all. Yeah, style, we pass it in CS. In React, the way to pass style is as an object. When if it is an inline object, you can put two curly brackets. If it is in a variable, you can mention the name of the variable. Yes, it is not only simple variables, it is also possible to use objects actually for displaying. In that case, you can say user dot description. Uh, yeah, is not allowed as a variable declaration. This is kind of somewhat like reserved. So we'll say class name. I'll give class name. We put class name. All right. So this is what we have learned so far, and this you will get to remember, or you'll be able to remember the syntax if you start practicing this. So at the end, yes, we will do some practice like this. So far, any question with respect to this using curly bracket, which is basically to have JavaScript inside JSX, or along with the JavaScript. I mean, along with the JSX, we are writing JavaScript.
Sir, give me another example. Double curly brace.
Okay, so you need another example for double curly braces. Hold on for another 5 minutes. I'll show you another good example, which is there in the next topic which I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, for now, you just keep with the style. Maybe if you want me to give another style, let's say I have an input, yeah, or let's say I have a button. For the button, I would like to apply some style now, which could be as simple as I want to apply some padding. So I'll do style, and I have to provide a style as an object actually. Yeah, in JSX, it accepts an object as a style. So I want to write within here itself, so I can say padding 10 pixel. Yeah, 10 pixel. What else? 10 pixel plus maybe 20 pixel. Color, comma. Okay, we write comma actually. In CSS, we used to write semicolon, correct? Since it is an object, we have to write comma. And then let's say color. Yeah, brown. Font size. So wherever I'm hard coding the full object, that time only I'll use color two curly braces. Otherwise, there is no need of two curly braces. Okay. Now I can also do one thing. I
So
can
can
do
we use class name for this fragment?
can we use class name for the
Fragment that is empty
no?
parent.
It's an empty element. You cannot actually. You cannot pass any attribute. I think except there is one property which you can pass. Other than that, you cannot pass any other attribute actually. Okay, so let me do a quick save actually, so that you guys get what exactly I'm saving. So I'll save this stack blaze. I'm also going to name it, okay, which is JavaScript, yeah, inside JSX. The topic name is curly braces. So now I'm just naming it. I'm also saving it. Now what is the benefit of this? If I save, at any time I can go back to this history in my dashboard. I can see which is this example. See, JavaScript inside curly braces. Tomorrow when I just see all the things, I can quickly see what is there in this example. So like this, if you save, it will help you to revise and see those examples actually. Alright, so then I'll use, yeah, then we'll move on to, yeah, so I'll use, I'm actually using, yesterday I told you, okay, we'll use other editor, but I think StackBliss is doing good actually so far. Yeah, we can continue to use StackBliss instead of Code Sandbox. Alright, so here within the source code, we write the code within app.tsx, main.tsx. Oh, sorry, I think I've created a wrong template. Just a second. So this is using TypeScript, but I'm interested in JavaScript. Okay, React JavaScript. This is a template you have to use. Whenever you are creating new thing, you use React JavaScript. React, it is possible with the TypeScript also. So we'll talk about TypeScript and then we'll understand what exactly is TypeScript and why it is. Understood? Now this is another code sandbox or another project which I'm opening for the new practice that I would like to have. Okay, so what is the next topic? Once you understood, yeah, we just so far understood how to, you know, create the UI part and then how to make it dynamic with the help of JavaScript is what you have learned.